Friends meeting of oh, oh yeah, let's record this. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you, David. All right, I'm gonna start that again. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to the first Boston Urban Forest Friends meeting of 2024. Today's January 12th. I'm happy to have you all here. We are going to get started, but if you haven't noticed, there's a little bit of a redesign to our like introduction screen. I've been playing around with a few graphics and just wanted to like kind of like liven up our meetings a little bit, change the font, make it look a little more green and inviting. So feel free to let me know what your thoughts are on this as we continue through the meeting. You'll see some other slides that will be reflective of that. All right, so the meeting norms are the same. Those have not changed. And all right, so here are our agenda items. We don't have a full agenda. We've invited people to come speak, but no one had responded, and that's okay. Then we have enough people here, that feel free to, speak out and just, say whatever you would like to say during your community updates. Hi, Amara, how you doing? Good morning. Todd, good morning. So Happy New Year, welcome back. We have community updates. We have some Speak for the Trees updates, the buff survey, which we'll send in a link in our chat to be filled out if you haven't already done that. But if you have, feel free to add more information if you'd like. And our next meeting date is February 9th, 2024. Feels like we're moving through the year so fast already, and it just started. I don't know if you all feel that way. I do. But all right. So community updates. If you have an update, please raise your hand and we would love to hear from you. Oops, stop sharing. Stop sharing. Hey, Sarah.
Hi, everyone. I can give the monthly Shattuck Hospital Franklin Park update. The other day, a couple of members, member of CORES and Keep Shattuck Green were interviewed on BNN. I can put the link in the chat, but that was pretty interesting.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. That all you have? Okay.
Yeah, unless I'm missing something. I think last time I put in the chat a whole bunch of links of recent media, and I don't know if there's more than that BNN since 2 weeks or whenever. Oh no, it was a month ago. I thought I put, well, you know what? I'll look for more recent anything since our last meeting, but don't need to take up speaking time. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. Well, we sent out our meeting minutes last month, so you can go back into the meeting notes if you want to go find anything that you may have sent to us. All right. Thank you, Sarah. Anyone else? Hey, Jack. You're up next. Good
Sorry,
morning.
Todd, I didn't mean to sneak in there right before you. Good morning, everyone. I feel like I think I missed the last meeting, so it's good to see everyone again. Jack Schleifer, I'm the field operations manager with the Emerald Necklace Conservancy, for any of you who may not know me or my role. Yeah, I just wanted to give a few brief updates because we have, although it's kind of the off season, we have a lot of work that's cooking or starting soon with the Conservancy, and I want to give people some updates. So I've been working on a big project we inventoried and now to prune over 500 trees throughout Olmsted Park, and that is on Boston, Brookline, and DCR property. This is kind of the start of our 7-year pruning cycle. It's something I know Erica knows well because she was really instrumental in getting a lot of that work done in prior years when she was working with the Conservancy. So grateful for you, Erica, as I'm following in your footsteps on some of these projects. But that's going well, and we're working with Bartlett Tree Experts. We bid it out, we got a bunch of bids back, and we're excited to be working with them. In addition to that, I'm starting some projects to do heritage tree care for a bunch of our older trees and some fertilizing and pruning throughout the necklace on those. And then thinking about plans to try to get a bunch of planting locations approved kind of all at once by the Landmarks Commission. So I may be reaching out to some of you as community members or city staff and whatnot to talk about some of the locations we've already considered and other ones we can add. Yeah, so those are just a few of the things we have cooking, but I'll keep thinking about ways to engage people as we get closer to the field season. We always have our volunteer events and things like that for people to get out and get their hands dirty. I know you all are doing a lot of that already though. So thanks for the time, everyone.
All right, thank you so much, Jack. And it's great to hear the work that you're doing. Continuing Erica's work, who did amazing work there. So that's awesome. Thank you, Jack. All right, Todd. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, everyone. I think it's been a couple months since I've been at one of these meetings. The last two have just fallen on dates that I happen to be out of the office. So just to give a little update about what's going on with the city. And so we did complete a fall planting season for street tree planting. Now we had a little bit of a late start because of a contract issue of getting the contract set up. So we really didn't start until around Thanksgiving. But the weather allowed us to go virtually almost up till Christmas, the end of December. We were out there planting trees in the streets, and we did plant 471 street trees, which those are just about now all updated in our inventory. So we'll put a filter on there so you can see where all those were located. This is going to lead us to actually having a larger spring planting. Just, the contract goes from July to end of June. And so we're just in the beginning part of the contract. So because we didn't get as many as we wanted in the fall, we will have, a much higher number for the spring. So in addition to those 471 street trees, working with Speak for the Trees, planted some trees in Mount Hope Cemetery, as well as Harambee Park. Tree Eastie helped us out, planting some trees at East Boston Memorial. Our arborists at our office we got 30 bare root trees that we planted in a variety of places, some with some parks groups at like Hobart Park, and others were just experimenting along like Comm median in certain areas, seeing how these trees would respond and grow versus the typical B&B that we plant. So again, we're trying to experiment, trying to do different things. I think all total, there are probably about 550 trees that were planted in the fall. And then in addition to that, just talking about pruning that Jack talked about with the emerald necklace, we are also trying to have a little focused experiment where we're specifically targeting like young elm trees for structural pruning. Elms tend to have kind of poor branch structure. And so if you don't address it when it's young, they can easily break apart in storms. When they get to be, middle-aged, they just start falling apart. So we're trying to head that off by doing some very targeted structural pruning on our young elm trees. Again, just experimenting rather than just going to prune everything in one area all at one time. We're very targeted in things that we know are problematic in the future. So those are some of the things that we got going on right now in the Parks Department.
All right. Thank you, Todd. Appreciate the update, and thank you for all the great work that you and your department are doing. Looking forward to continuing the partnership between the City of Boston and Speak for the Trees. So thank you. Erica Holm, you're up next. Good morning.
Good morning. I always say something. And you guys might be planning to talk about this anyway, but let me back up first and say thank you, Todd, to your arborists and your crews. The storms recently have been kind of a lot for a lot of the eastern part of Massachusetts. So uprooting trees, falling all over the place, and those storm response nights that your crews have been working. Thank you guys for that. That's been a lot I've seen, especially in other towns and in my travels and everything. So a lot of hard work, and that's really awesome. And then I just wanted to, are you guys going to talk about the ordinance, Jarrell?
Unless someone else is here to talk about it.
Okay, I'm not here to talk about it, but I saw it over the holiday break. That
I was gonna,
Yeah,
I was gonna talk about it a little bit, but no, but go ahead. I don't want to cut you off. You should.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah,
go
I
ahead,
I
Mara.
saw it over the holiday break that the public part of the tree ordinance was unanimously voted on by city council. I haven't watched the recording yet, but I will. I did read what got passed. So just if you're interested in that, definitely keep an eye on it. Urban forest policy pretty much affects all of our programs, I think. So it's really good to be involved, get your organization involved, read the ordinance, see how it's going to affect things in the future. And you know, I'm going to let Amara talk about the Boston Tree Alliance. I'm not going to focus on that, but I have a couple other things going on. Like Boston joined the Forest and Cities Network from the Natural Areas Conservancy. So that's focused on like groves of trees and woodlands in cities. And we've been working with Paul Sutton from the Urban Wilds program to write up a really nice case study about the Roslindale wetlands. So if you have been involved in that project since the beginning, you know that it's something that other cities can learn a lot from. Community members really advocating for a space, working together with kind of private neighbors, and they have a tree fund right now that the Roslindale Wetlands Task Force does. So just something to keep an eye out. I live in Roslindale, so I always keep apprised of whatever's going on kind of over there. And we're going to publish that case study. So I'll just send it out so people can read it when it comes out. And there's also a conference for that group in Miami. So myself and Paul, and I think maybe Nick, and then BU is the third partner in that kind of effort. So I think Pam Templer from BU Urban, we're all going to go down to Miami and really share about what Boston is doing and kind of mention this group. You know, there's a lot of committed folks to trees in Boston. So we're going to make sure people know about it and what you all have been doing over the past years. So we're excited about that. I forget what my other update might have been. Maybe it was I went to the Mass Tree Wardens and Foresters Association annual conference this week, heard a lot of great things. Some of our state folks were there. And I just want to pass along that the DCR Arbor Day poster contest is actually going to be open to 3rd, 4th, and 5th grades this year. So all the schools in Massachusetts can participate, have a little poster contest. It can result in a tree being planted at the school by the DCR program. So not something to miss out on. And the posters that they make get rolled into a calendar that's very cute and that the kids take a lot of pride in. So the due date is for March 15th for that. So if you know schools, or if you have kids, or if you know people who have kids who are in that age range, the theme is healthy towns, healthy trees, healthy towns, something like that. So I'll leave it at that. I don't know, Amara, if you want to do the Boston Tree Alliance next.
Thank you, Erica. Hey, Amara.
Hey, Drill. I just wanted to say I appreciate your new graphics, and I understand the struggle with finding good graphics. So, thumbs up on that.
Thank you.
Sure, yeah. So, we recently had a meeting as a general body with the Boston Tree Alliance. That was really great. Just providing some updates for what we were up to in 2023, and what we're hoping to do moving forward with the program this year. So, we're going to be continuing to meet as a general body, and also having some subcommittee meetings focusing on specific subsections of that. And then also just wanted to mention that we're going to be having an upcoming grant cycle in February. So for community-based groups and nonprofits to be on the lookout for more information around that notice of funding opportunity as well. And so I'll just throw my email and the interest form in the chat for anyone who's interested in learning more about the Alliance. But thanks for everyone who's been coming to meetings or who's been involved in any way. Appreciate all of your work in this.
Well, thank you so much, Amara. It was great for me to attend my first meeting the other day and to learn so much and to hear about everything that's going on with the Alliance. So, and thank you for being a great host. You're very patient. I just want to tell you that you're very patient. When it gets quiet in the room, you're like, okay, moving on. I like that. I appreciate that. All right. Any other updates from anyone? If not, I'll move it down to David, if you want to talk about the ordinance.
I just wanted to first thank Amara and the rest of her team over at the Boston Nature Center and Mass Audubon for pulling together the Tree Alliance. I've been part of a lot of those some of those conversations, and I know all the hard work that's gone in, and you pulled off a great meeting yesterday. I know how hard it is to bring different groups together and think about all this work, and excited for what's coming. And congrats too on being able to extend it with the IRA funding, which is super exciting. So looking forward to that. And I'm happy to talk the little I know about the process around the ordinance. I did drop in 2 links there. One is the ordinance itself as a PDF, and the other is the a brief explanation of it through an article in WBUR. So feel free to read that. There's also a link on our website to the video of the hearing. Can't remember who mentioned it here. I think it was you, Erica. There really isn't much there. Just so you're aware, just a couple of comments, and then it was passed unanimously. And I think it takes effect in 90 days, if I'm not mistaken, but maybe someone can correct me on that. It is only for public trees. So it is that 40% of land that is governed by mainly City of Boston, and it essentially provides the same protection for public trees and parkland as you have in Chapter 87 for protection for trees on the right of way or on streets. There are opportunities for hearings and community discussions around trees and tree removals. And we're excited to see how this process sort of plays out. I think the big elephant in the room, of course, is private trees and what does a private tree ordinance look like. And that's going to be a longer conversation with the new city council now, or new members on the city council. Councilor Arroyo led this effort. He's no longer a city councilor. So the question is, who wants to pick up the mantle when thinking about a private tree ordinance from the council side? And then I defer to Todd and others in his department on how their department wants to lead or be led in that process. So it'll be interesting to see what that looks like this time around. I imagine it will be we'll get a lot more interest from residents than there was in this one, because it will affect tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of properties across the city. So I know there's also, if folks are interested, a group that has been really involved in thinking through the ordinance, Environmental Health as Wealth Advocacy Coalition. They meet every other Thursday, 6 p.m. And the person on that is Alana Feaster, who coordinates those. I will drop her email in the chat. I know a couple of folks here on the call. I've heard of that coalition and have been meeting regularly. And we've had the privilege of working with Larry Wiseman from American Forests. He's probably one of the foremost experts on tree ordinances in the country. He's been in on some of those meetings as well, sharing his breadth of knowledge. I think that's it on the ordinance. Thank you all. And
all right, thanks, David. You mentioned Alana, and Alana had sent me an email that say that she couldn't be here this month with updates, but she will be back in February to share all the work that is going on with the Environmental Health as Wealth Action Coalition. So, hi, Claire. Good morning.
Good morning, Jarrell. How are you?
Good.
Good. I just wanted to sort of tag along a little bit with what Erica was saying about Franklin Park and trees, because the public comment period with the BPDA to comment about the proposed public-private partnership to renovate White Stadium is closing January 24th, I believe. I think they have maybe one more public meeting. The meetings they've had are available online. And there was some vague discussion of the ecology and respecting the ecology of the trees, which doesn't actually make sense in the presentation. But if you care about trees, and particularly if you're in the neighborhood, but Boston resident or Boston Park lover from another community, your voice would be welcome. I think the more people who can advocate for minimal disturbance to the existing trees and protection during construction and all those important things, the more voices saying those messages, the better for the project. So FYI, I can try to find something and put it in the chat too. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Sorry about that. You're messing around from screen to screen. I apologize. All right. Any other updates? We're gonna move on if there are no more updates right now. Anyone? All right. All right. So let's move on to our Speak for the Trees updates. I would just like to I'll start that off. David, Julia, Victoria, if anyone would like to add anything else. But I would just say that right now, as Jack had mentioned earlier, we're also in our off season right now. But I usually look at our off season as that we're planning to plant. I'm in the process of planning tree giveaways. We're setting up 6 tree giveaways this year. So this year we want to give away 300 trees to community members to plant in their communities, to plant at their homes. What else is going on right now? We have our Teen Urban Tree Corps program. Josh could not be here today. So we're in our academic season right now for the TUTSI program. We have more things lined up for the summer program. I don't have too much information on that, but I'm just letting you know that we have TUTSI going on right now. We are in the process of developing our volunteer program. Julia and I have been, putting ideas together, so we're trying to sharpen that up so we can have a robust volunteer program. We also have a program that we're piloting. It's called Big Old Trees. It's kind of like our legacy tree program, where we're trying to identify older trees in the community, just for the sake of data keeping and to see the older, more historic trees that maybe around the city of Boston and more in the urban communities, the low tree canopy communities. And also I'm in the process of planning. Last year we had a grant through the EPA, and we partnered with many community partners, and we are gearing up to have a celebration to kind of close out that grant and to check in with the communities that we work with to see what they would like to share about the program. We did community tree walks. We did 6 community tree walks, and we want to just get together to get the people together so we can hear about it, see what they learn, et cetera, et cetera. All right. Any updates from staff?
I was just gonna provide an opportunity. Julia is part of, and thank you, Todd, also for being part of this Emerson class that begins next week around behavior change. It's a behavioral economics class, and we're looking at how people think about and interact with trees, and what might be opportunities to move the needle on behaviors, whether that's negative behaviors like dogs urinating on trees, or encouraging people to do positive behaviors like watering and caring for trees. Part of the great thing about Emerson is they are seeking out community learning partners, and there's an opportunity for folks from EJ communities to be part of this. It would mean attending the class, and Julia, Todd, I might be getting the time wrong, but I think it's 6 to 9:30 every Tuesday. Is that right? Okay. And there's a $400. Sorry, go ahead.
Just to 9, not 9:30.
Oh, just to 9. Okay.
Yeah.
At Emerson, and there's a $400 stipend. So if you are interested in being part of that, there's still 2 slots available as of yesterday. Just feel free to reach out to me or Julia, and we'll connect you with the staff at Emerson.
Great, thanks, David. Claire, your hand is raised. Hello again. I'll say good morning.
Hi. Probably many of you know this, but I am kind of sad to say that I'm leaving Speak for the Trees to take another role consulting with the Charles River Watershed Association on a watershed scale urban forest assessment and plan. So I will continue to come to Buff and continue to be a park advocate and tree lover. And as an arborist, I'm happy to volunteer if you hear of if you have a project or you could use extra hands, just let me know, because I'm in it for the long haul, and I love Boston and I love Boston's trees. And it's just been a great honor and pleasure to work with my wonderful colleagues and with all of you. There's so many champions in this little Zoom room that we have. So thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Really appreciate it and enjoyed working with you. Gonna miss you. And but thank you for saying that you're gonna still be around and stay in touch. So thank you very much. All right. All right. Any other? Hey, Ilani, how are you?
Hi, Jarrell. Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Feliz años nuevos.
Yes,
Hope I said it right.
you did. Good job.
Nice, nice. Welcome. What do you have any updates for us?
Oh my God, you put me on the spot. No, I don't have updates. Sorry.
Okay, okay. You just came in, you know, you gotta
I
put
just
you on the
came
spot.
in. Yes, I'm sorry for being late. I'm here.
No, no worries, no worries. All right. So if there are no more other updates right now, I think we wanted to it's 11:30, but we want to leave a little bit of space for anyone who would like to for a discussion. David, could you expound on that a little bit? Because you had mentioned it to me the other day, and I just want you just set that up for us.
Could you, sorry, do you have the slides up? Is there a slide to lead into this?
No, I don't have a slide to lead into that. Oh, I mean, yes, I do. Give me a second. Stand by, stand by. Stand by. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Give me a second. Mm-hmm. That it? David?
Yeah, sorry, I was just muted for a second. Okay, that's fine. I
Okay.
thought maybe you had more. All right, you don't need to share that screen.
Okay.
Well, before I sort of frame this idea that Jarrell and I have been talking about on and off, and you've been part of, I just wanted to see if there are any other comments or things people want to share, because this might lead into breakout rooms or people leaving the meeting if they're not interested. So I just wanted to make sure that there's continues to be space for any final sharings. Yes, Ellen.
Hello, I'm new to this group, although I've been getting emails for a while, and I'm very interested in trees. When I lived in Boston, I watered my tree every day in the summer, and I'm a lawyer. And if you have any news for a lawyer who's experienced in environmental law, I'll be glad to help you.
Well, that is a very generous offer. Thank you, Galen. Considering the interest in an ordinance, there might well be lots of people emailing you and following up with you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And I assume, Jarrell, you have Galen's email address somewhere.
Somewhere I do. I'm sure it's on the list. But if not, Galen, could you mind just dropping that in the chat, please? Just to make sure.
So I know that Jarrell over the past couple of sessions has introduced this idea that we've been talking about around carrying out some of this work and providing a larger opportunities or additional opportunities for organizations and individuals to guide Boston Urban Forest Friends meetings. And, you know, Jarrell has done a masterful job of making sure that these meetings happen every week, every month, reporting them, sending out notes. It's a lot of work, and I you know, we all appreciate his work. One of the things that we want to provide additional space for is more structure for folks to move things forward in between meetings and then share any results. and sort of provide updates during meetings. Perhaps we can think of those as committees. Perhaps we think of them as sort of support structures. And Jarrell has, I think, took a poll a couple of sessions ago, sort of soliciting feedback on that. So what I suggest during the time we have left is for us to, for those who are interested in helping think through what that might look like and want to be part of those committee structures, to just hang around and continue the conversation and think about sort of governance and structure. And for those folks who aren't interested, we'll see you next month. That's why I said, if there are any comments, please share them. So I don't have anything else to share other than that. Although Jarrell, yes,
I
there
just
we
found
go.
that slide from a previous meeting.
Thank you. Yeah, working groups, committees. Again, it's going to depend on what type of depth people want to go into. We had talked about an ordinance committee. We talked about a planting committee. I think some of this could dovetail nicely with Amara's work over at the Tree Alliance. And I know I'm pretty confident Amara, you might correct me if I'm wrong, is that the Tree Alliance is not doing any advocacy work. And it's the project.
Yeah. So I think that Buff is a great space for community members to talk and organizations to talk about advocacy and the ordinance and other sort of things that were sort of siloed from being able to talk about with the city of Boston. So I think that the space is great for that. And if there are, ways that like we can sort of route folks from the Alliance to Buff more to who are interested in being part of those conversations, I'd definitely be willing to help out with that too. But yes, David, I agree with you that that's a good thing. And Erica probably has something to add too. So.
Thank you, Amara. Hey, Erica.
Hey, yeah, this might be kind of a I don't know, a hot take or something. We'll see how people respond. But I just want to put my my words out here about being a part of a lot of different coalitions, especially in Boston, where they do break out into subcommittees, and then I can't keep up with the thread, like because it's a different meeting happening on a different night, conflicting with another meeting possibly. So I would recommend, I mean, just from my personal perspective, like I'm totally happy if it doesn't end up this way. But my preference would be to like actually add each of the items that we repeatedly share updates on like to the Buff meeting agenda for this meeting time and kind of keep it going as one group where, we've got Todd here, so Todd can stay informed on kind of what we're talking about. We can hear from the city. We could hear a little bit of an update on the Tree Alliance. I love hearing the updates on what Speak for the Trees is up to. I actually like that it's a once monthly kind of everything on the table type of meeting, sometimes with a presentation. My fear is that if we break it out into working groups, it'll be a lot harder to follow along with and stay up to date on certain issues and to see certain people. This is the only meeting where we see this group of people. I really enjoy these meetings, and I think to kind of silo those conversations, we're all talking about trees, and I really want to know everything about trees in Boston. So maybe that's not everyone's experience, but just putting that out there.
So sorry, I might not have been clear, and maybe this will sway you or not. I'm watching her because I totally appreciate how many meetings we're pulled into. This would not replace the monthly Buff meetings, right? The idea is to continue to have these meetings for folks who are interested in diving deeper and moving conversations forward, the conversations that surface here. And some of these are already happening. Like I know Sarah's very involved in Park, right? Like, and she's bringing updates. And if there are opportunities here, folks to support Jarrell and his work in moving other conversations forward, right? Maybe there's a group who wants to specifically look at broadening the coalition by doing outreach. What does that look like, right? Those types of things that aren't meant to replace these monthly meetings, but instead to supplement them. And I don't know if that at all reframes it for you, Erica. I'm sorry that wasn't explicit in my comments.
No, that's my mistake, David. That's my like misread of what you were what you were saying. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, curious to hear what other people think.
Sarah, you had your hand up a second ago. I don't know if you wanted to return to your comment.
Sure, it's kind of a takeoff from what Erica was saying. I think a lot of us who are here are very engaged in multiple efforts, and with me, when I see the possibility of subgroups of a group I'm in, it's like, how would I even find a chunk of time to do that? And I wonder if within this meeting, we could like have maybe the last 15 minutes or something as breakout rooms on those topics, rather than try to add another meeting to calendars. That might change 6 months from now, but like, as you mentioned, Franklin Park has bear cages, White Stadium, the Shattuck Hospital, the action plan, the Elma Lewis coming up. Just Franklin Park alone could be a half-time job. And that's not counting Jamaica Pond Association Hills, and every neighborhood has their community meetings. And then there's Article 80 and squares and streets. And, there's so much happening right now that it's very hard to think about committing to yet another series of regular meetings.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate that. Celeste, good morning.
Good morning. Happy New Year belatedly. I am agreeing with Erin and Sarah. I mean, right now I go to 4 meetings a month that are just about trees, not development, trees. And then you add Emerald Necklace meetings, you add development meetings, and I can't even keep up with that. So while I could possibly attend a subgroup meeting occasionally, I don't think I would have any time to do any work for it. And, you need people doing the work, because otherwise, you just have a bunch of us sitting around listening. And I think it's important to have people actively involved. And I think we all are already. So, you could pick a meeting and have a certain topic to discuss. But for instance, there is a group working on the tree ordinance. I don't know that we need another subcommittee. I'm involved with too many groups that you can't get a letter out because everybody comes out of the woodwork to change a word or a phrase. So I like it the way it is, with, tweaks here and there if people want them. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Celeste. Appreciate that. All right. David, any response?
I hear folks on the meetings, and one of my resolutions this year is actually to have fewer Zoom meetings. So this is something that is in conflict with that in some ways, right? But I think also there's an opportunity here to think of how we are more efficient in bringing people together. Your point, Celeste, is like people coming out of the woodwork. And I think maybe one idea, I think Sarah, who suggested it, is maybe just saving the last 15 minutes for folks to go into breakout rooms as the opportunity arises. I think we can probably be, today's meeting, we finish by 11:30. I don't think it's unreasonable to say, we finish general meeting by 11:40, and then the 20 minutes, 15 minutes of subgroup work. Or we have a subgroup meeting from 11:30 to 11:45, and then we come back. There are many ways to sort of think about it. There are updates from folks like Alana, that would be good to hear about, and maybe there's a way to formalize it in other ways where if she can attend, there's some way for her to share an update nonetheless. Again, I'm just trying to think, like, to your point, Celeste and Erica and Sarah and everyone, there's so much going on. Asking us to do more is not the best way to, might not be the best way to move the work forward, but maybe there's a way to convene ideas in a space like this that would help everyone be on the same page.
I think the most helpful things about these meetings is that we tell people where we are or what we're concerned about, and other people can jump in and say, gee, have you spoken to so-and-so? Have you gone to a meeting of the Tree Alliance, let's say? I mean, you get helpful hints because we don't all know everything going on. And so I think it's a nice way to be able to share knowledge through our own personal experience with people who don't have that exact experience. So that's what I find very helpful here.
Thank you, Celeste. Sarah.
Yeah, kind of similar to that. I was thinking we're not that big a group today. Sometimes it's more people, but I think we all really enjoy hearing from each other and hearing the different aspects. So maybe we could rotate some of those topics to be the end of the meeting for the whole group. And maybe not get to everyone every time, but maybe get to at least a couple and not have to break up.
That's a great idea, Sarah. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I love that idea too. Just to support that, Sarah, because sometimes when you have breakout rooms, it can be hard to choose which one to go into, and you might miss part of something that you would really want to hear. I know sometimes a lot can change in a month, like really quickly with certain topics as well. So I do like the idea of having it be kind of those. I know you guys said you had people that were maybe going to present about something or have a presentation, but maybe it could just be a little more time for someone to go into a topic that they've been thinking about for a while. And one more idea, I might have put this in I don't know if I put this in the survey or whatever, but we all have like some of these youth programs in the summer or in certain months. We do have youth that are working with us, and like maybe they could come talk about either a experience they had in a prior year, something they're doing now. That could be something that maybe I'd like to hear from Power Corps, someone in the urban forestry track every once in a while. So getting some young people, getting their voices in here, just to see how that's going. It would be hard with the meeting time, I guess, for people who are actually in school if they have classes or school conflicting. But I know for some of our youth programs, especially in the summer, I really do always encourage them to come to this meeting.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Erica. We appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm thinking like, how could we reach out to community members? Well, that's probably something I need to talk about with my team, but I just think about like the easiest way to reach people. Like we're people too, but we do this all the time. But like just like people in neighborhoods, people in communities, how do we reach them and like get them to come? I mean, most people work as well. I mean, we're kind of working, but most people are at their jobs at this time of day, so maybe they can't commit to an hour during the day. But then there's another segment of people who probably are available. So I don't know. Just have to do some more thinking around that. David?
To dovetail with both what you said and Erica said around enlarging the, bringing more people in, and then Claire made a great comment around, can we make some outreach material? I think that's spot on. And I wonder if part of this is revisiting when the meeting is held. I can't remember why we landed at Friday at 11. We see the same faces here, which means like it works for everyone here, but there's certain faces that we don't see. And, so I think that's another conversation to have, is like, what is a good time, so we can expand our audience. And certainly we wouldn't want to make it harder for everyone here to be here, but there is always a give and take, especially if we're talking about youth or folks who are working more regular hours, 9 to 5 sort of jobs. And then I had another comment, Erica, that you pinged you're connecting a synapse in my brain, but now my brain is
Was it the youth
reconnecting
part?
that synapse.
It might have been the youth.
No, it was something else.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think that's a great idea to bring that into conversation. I also recognize that they can't do that on a Friday. So if it comes back to me, I'll re-raise my hand.
Recently had some Northeastern students and some BU students be like, how can we do more? So, those students I think could also be suggested. I mean, college students kind of sometimes can shift their stuff a little more. So thinking about people at various different, not just like high school students only, but just thinking about everybody. There might be some opportunities there, because I know I haven't done the best job of always mentioning this group to everybody that I could be. So I think it's good to have this conversation, so then we can each kind of ramp that up if we think of it. It's a good reminder.
Christine, good morning.
Hi there. So as somebody who is a community member, not affiliated with any organization, because as an activist, I go to plenty of meetings from different groups all the time. And being able to get people involved obviously is one of the hardest things to do, because you want to educate, you want to inform, and essentially get people engaged. And with all the different things that are going on locally, regionally, and whatnot, it is really hard, especially because of the fact there's, people are a lot of times at capacity with the various things that are happening. And sometimes, everyone can't focus on environmental justice. Sometimes there are other things that come into play, but there's so many different groups within that, and just, with the city, and, it's just really tough to figure out, where to go, what to do, and the progress, if any, that is being made. Because I remember during the pandemic, and I was walking around all over Dorchester where I live, and, seeing all these trees that I'm like, okay, they're either dying, or there used to be a place where there was a tree and they're no longer there. And, submitting, the picture and location to 311. But being able to figure out, like, how do you determine which group that, because there are so many, and which one to go to figure out, like, what are they actually doing? How can it help? Those are the type of things that a lot of times people, will go to a meeting and figure out, like, oh, it's not for me, or, oh, they're focused on this, but not that. And, so every group is different, but being able to focus on the fact that too many people don't understand that without trees, the level of the heat island that we live in obviously goes up. And the lack of oxygen obviously is a detriment to our health. And the asthma rates in certain communities is higher. But a lot of people don't understand the correlation, and educating people on that. And whether that's, going to health centers, whether that's going to civic association meetings, there's a lot of different cultural groups, whether it's Viet Aid or the woman in Upham's Corner, that's, I think, the Cape Verdean adult something or other. There's a lot of different ones, but it also has to do with, there's a language barrier, because there are certain communities that have, different speaking immigrants. So that's also something to consider.
Thank you, Christine. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Amara, there you are.
Hey, yeah, I just had one more thought, as Christine was talking. In this interest form that we have for the Alliance, there's a lot of responses from folks who just are looking to be engaged, you know, in any way in urban forestry in Boston. You know, it's not necessarily like directly connected to like wanting to attend an Alliance meeting but they're like, oh, you know, I work, I mean, there's responses that are like, you know, I just really don't know anything about like what's happening in Boston and I just want to get involved more. And I think like there's a lot of responses that you know, we could direct folks to if we could have like even just a Buff community updates like newsletter. I don't know, like I know you do a lot of work around it already, Jarell, so I don't want to add more to your plate, but like if we could have a way
Thank
to
you.
direct people to oh, like here's what Buff is working on and here's how you could engage with Buff, or you know, there's so many folks in this group who are doing such amazing things, so how can we like direct folks if you're interested in like volunteering or learning more about the Boston Urban Forest Plan, like we could be sort of a central hub for that, which I think the Alliance has an opportunity to do as well. But combining those efforts and just thinking about it with that interest form, there's so many folks who are just like, I'm interested, but I just don't know how to where to start. So just providing some sort of starting place like that.
Well, we definitely do include, you know, Buff in our newsletters because we do send out a bi-weekly newsletter, right, David? Bi-weekly? Yeah. But, you know, it could include topics that we're going to discuss at the Buff meetings.
I think what Amara is suggesting is actually the opposite. It's like there'd be a Buff platform and newsletter distinct from the Speak for the Trees newsletter.
Oh, that's the more work that she was talking about. Okay.
That's the more work she was talking about. Like a lot more
I
work.
didn't want to hear
Not just
that.
a little. Yeah, you hear what you want to hear. Is that right, Amara? Did I hear you?
Yeah, and I mean, like I definitely would be willing to commit some time to like just going through what folks have responded to, and you know, we have over 100 responses in this thing of folks who are just interested in some way. So I was just thinking like connecting it to what, you know, everyone in this group is working on. Like I don't necessarily know everything that we've ever talked about in this group. And so that would just be one thought, but definitely not trying to put a huge load on anyone.
And I see your hand is up, Alani, if I may
Yeah.
just for a sec. I think what I'm hearing from you is like, how do we make a space that's more centralized for three things going on in Boston? And Buff could be that place where that happens, whether it's on a website, a newsletter, outreach. I just put marketing here, right? Marketing and sharing. That's sort of what I heard from you, Amara, which I think is an interesting and useful transition from, and I think I'm hearing the resonance with others here from like a community structure, right? Which seems like it's top heavy or too involved. Like maybe there's a more organic way.
Well, David, Erica just put that it could be on our website because we do have an entire website for a Buff. So it could be there. It could live there and we won't have to do too much more because we already got that.
Don't we have an intern coming in, Jarell, who's going to help with Buff marketing?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Ilana, you waited long enough. Good morning.
Good morning. So I think this is a great conversation about, you know, how to, you know, try to streamline our efforts and be more efficient. And I definitely, as someone who I haven't been as active as I would like to have been the last few months. You know, but I also can understand like when I was active, there were a lot of one-off meetings, and that it did get a little bit overwhelming, you know, and hard to manage, especially, you know, because, you know, I'm a working mom, and so you know, there's a lot of other obligations on top of, you know, trying to be aligned with like, you know, environmental justice work, which is why I'm so thankful for a space like this and for any and every group of people who are coming together, you know, in the name of, you know, creating a better planet and trying to plant those seeds wherever you go. From my perspective, I think that a great way to maximize to tap into you know, communities of color, particularly in you know, Boston's inner cities, is for each of us to kind of do an inventory of who we're connected to. Every person here is connected to something or someone or a movement outside of environmental justice that that we can find a way to kind of think creatively outside the box to mend or to, you know, kind of mix those up in the name of, you know, really like getting into the community and connecting. You know, me, for example, I'm connected to the Cambridge Dance Complex, and you know, a lot of performing arts. But in particular, you know, I have been working with a group of women called Power of Skirts, and we perform in the streets of, you know, Roxbury, you know, Hyde Park, Boston. Sharing the, you know, African diaspora, you know, dance movements and music. And oftentimes we collaborate with other performers, other organizations. And that's how, you know, one, like alone, we wouldn't be able to get a big crowd, but together working collectively, we do manage to bring in a larger crowd. So like, for example, I see a potential, right, for a partnership between you know, the choreographer who schedules and plans everything, and Speak for the Trees. And for example, you know, a lot of the teachings that the choreographer, the teacher and with our group does is, you know, taking it back to like the indigenous, the ancestral teachings. And so much of that is connected to the earth, you know, caring for the earth, being stewards for the earth. So there's, you know, even like two groups that like on the surface may seem to be completely like on different ends of the spectrum, there's always opportunity to bring it together. I feel like anything and everything that we're involved in can absolutely get is absolutely intimately tied with environmental justice, because it's a matter of survival for all of us, really. So for example, this summer between like May and June, every Saturday, the teacher Isaura Oliveira, she's going to be offering free community dance workshops at Nubian Square, at the public library space. And you know, at the end of and that brings in like, you know, it really brings in a great number of you know, intentional families, you know, people who are looking to connect, people who are looking to grow, and really, you know, honor that space and the mission. And you know, I just feel like it's so intricately aligned. Like it's just the same could be said for any one of our, you know, groups or activities that we're involved in outside of Speak for the Trees or, you know, Buff. So I'd love to maybe make that connection. Maybe, you know, David, Jarrell, you know, we can like, you know, have a meeting with Isaura and talk about how that, you know, how there may be a possibility for partnership to further connect with the community. You know, she does like tree walks, like, you know, you guys do tree bathing, you know, activities like and events. Like there's just so much correlation, but there just isn't, we haven't quite made that created that bridge. And I think that we can all kind of assess our own groups, you know, our own resources and find those opportunities rather than, you know, like business as usual, or what we've done in the past, trying to create little one-off groups, but we're all the same people. We're not bringing in like new people, new faces, you know, Black and brown faces, indigenous faces. Like that's what we really need. That's what's missing.
Yeah. Thank you, Ilani. I appreciate that very, very, very
And
much.
before, you're welcome.
uh-huh.
And before, I do have one update. Is that okay if I just share one little tiny update?
Quickly, yes, because we're wrapping up, but go ahead.
Okay. Treat Easty. In October, I worked with Bill Masterson, and at Bell Isle Marsh, we planted over 50 trees in October of 2023, and that was a beautiful experience. It was a success, and I hope that we can continue to do this every year, every season. That's it.
That's excellent. That is excellent. All right, everyone. I am just going to, I mean, it's last second here, but the link for the survey, if you haven't done it, is in the chat. And we are wrapping up, and we will see you at our next meeting, which is February 9th. And I look forward to seeing you all there. Otherwise, have a great weekend, and yeah, we will see you all next month. Enjoy the rest of your day and in your weekend. Enjoy Martin Luther King Day off too, as well.
Thank you, Jarrell.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.